Good morning friends, how are you? I hope you all are fine. Today I am again back with Organisms and Population Part 3 of 12th Standard. In this session we are going to discuss about life history variation, population interaction, that is mutualism, competition, predation, parasitism, commensalism and amensalism. So let us start the session. First of all, it is about life history variation. We know that population increases due to reproductive fitness of individuals present in particular population in particular habitat. Some organisms breed only once in their lifetime. For example, in Pacific salmon fish and bamboo. They breed once in their lifetime. Other organisms breed many times during their lifetime, like most birds and mammals. They comes under this category. Some individual produces a large number of small offspring like oysters, pelagic fishes, but other individual produces a small number of large size offspring like birds and mammals. Now it is about population interaction. In nature, there is interaction of population of two different species. They could be beneficial, detrimental, or neutral. Neutral means neither harm nor benefited to one species or both. In the given table, assigning a positive sign is for beneficial interaction and assigning a negative sign is for detrimental, that is harmed interaction, and 0 sign is for neutral interaction. So here there is interaction between two species. In the first, it is mutualism, means both species is having positive sign, means both are benefited from each other. Second one is competition, means both lose. Here both are by negative sign. Next one is predation. Here one is benefited, another is harmed because one is having positive sign, another is having negative sign. Another one is parasitism. Here also one is benefited, another is harmed. Here also you can observe one is species is having positive sign, another is having negative sign. Another interaction is commensalism, in which one is benefited, another is neither benefited nor harmed. So the sign is positive and one is 0. Another one is amensalism, one is harmed, another is unaffected, that is neither benefited nor harmed. So here one species is having negative sign, another is having 0 sign. So these are the different interactions, that is mutualism, competition, predation, parasitism, commensalism and amensalism. We will discuss in detail all these interactions. Now first it is about mutualism. In mutualism, there is an association of two individuals in which both partners are benefited from each other. This is called symbiosis also. There are different examples of mutualism. First is lichen. Lichen is the association of fungus and algae. In lichen, algae prepare food being autotrophs and fungi provide protection and absorption of nutrients. Nutrition. Why? Because fungus is non-green plant. They don't have chlorophyll. So, they helps or protects the algae and also helps in absorption of nutrition. So, it is an association. It is a mutual relationship. Next one is Mycorrhizae. Mycorrhizae is an association of fungi and the roots of higher plant. Here, plant provides food for the fungus being heterotrophs, whereas fungus helps in absorption of nutrition. In the figure, you may visualize lichen as well as mycorrhiza. Another example of mutualism is pollination by insects. In this case, plant is pollinated by insects, and in turn, insects get reward in the form of nectar or edible pollen, or also site of oviposition, means laying of eggs. This laying of eggs is seen in wasp and fig plant. Another example is Mediterranean orchid, ophrys. employs sexual deceit to get its flower pollinated by a species of bee. One of the petals of its flower resembles the female of a bee species in color, size and color marking, etc. The male bees perceive or see it as a female and do pseudo-copulation with it. During this process of pseudo-copulation, pollen grains become dusted on its body, and when it reaches to another flower of same species, then pollen grains fall on the stigma by doing the same process of pseudo-copulation. So here it is seen the mutualism. In the given figure, you may visualize mutual relationship between fig tree and wasp. In figure A, flower is pollinated by wasp, and figure B, wasp laying eggs in a fig fruit. It is also showing B, a pollinator of orchid flower. Next is about competition. Competition may be intraspecific or interspecific. So let us see what is the differences between intraspecific and interspecific. Intraspecific means among individual of same species, whereas interspecific, it is interaction between individual of different species. This is the main differences between intra and inter. Intra means among same individual and inter means between different individual. Species different. It is generally believed that competition occurs when closely related species compete for the same resources that are limiting. But this is not true. Thus, competition is defined as a process in which the fitness of one species is significantly lower in the presence of another species. For example of competition is Abington tortoise in Galapagos Island become extinct within a decade after goats were introduced on the island. In some shallow South America lakes, visiting flamingo used to migrate to this place, and resident fishes compete for their common food, that is zooplankton, in the lake. So competition is defined as a process in which the fitness of one species is significantly lower in the presence of another species. Here you can observe interspecific competition and intraspecific competition. Interspecific means competition between members of different species, and intraspecific competition means competition between members of same species. Now let us discuss about Gauss competitive exclusion principle. This is very important for examination point of view. This principle states that when two closely related species competing for the same resources cannot coexist indefinitely, and the competitively inferior one will be eliminated eventually. This may be true if resources are limiting, but not otherwise. When the resources are in plenty, then both the species will be present there. But when the resources are limited, then the inferior one will be eliminated. Another population interaction is predation. Predation is an association of two interspecific organisms in which one animal kills and consumes other weaker organism. The organism who kill is called predator, and who is killed is called prey. This is one of the way of transferring of energy in food chain. For example, Tiger kill deer, snake eat frog. Now let us see what are the role of predator in ecosystem. Predators helps in transferring energy from one trophic level to another. It also helps in keeping prey population under control, and they also helps in maintaining species diversity in a community. Now the question arises, how could prey survive themselves? First is property of camouflage, means they can change their color according to the surrounding. For example, certain insects and frog species. Another example is monarch butterfly. They are very distasteful. So the predator will not consume, will not eat. Some prey are poisonous. Example, dart frog like phylobats, bicolor and dendrobats. Here you can visualize predation. Here leopard is a predator and deer is a prey. Now the next population interaction is parasitism. It is an association of two living organisms in which one partner is benefited and other is harmed. The partner who is benefited is called parasite and the partner who is harmed is called host. Thus there is a relationship between host and parasite. Parasites have evolved one and they have more adaptive features like loss of unnecessary sense organs, then presence of hooks and suckers, the loss of digestive system, high reproductive capacity. The life cycle of parasite is very complex and it involves one or more intermediate host. Without host, they cannot complete their life cycle. For example, the human liver fluid completes its life cycle in a snail and a fish. On the other hand, Plasmodium uses Anopheles mosquito as vector. Parasites harms the host by reducing survival of the host, by reducing growth and reproductive rates, making host physically weak. So in this way, the hosts are harmed. Parasites are of two types. One is ectoparasite, another is endoparasite. Ectoparasite means they are present on external surface and endoparasite means they are present within the host body in different organs like intestine, liver, lung, blood cells, etc. Head lice on humans, ticks on dog's skin, marine copepods on fish, cuscuta on haze plants. These are the example of ectoparasites. Whereas tapeworm, liver fluid and plasmodium are endoparasites present in intestine, liver and RBC or liver respectively. Now it is about brood parasitism. In this case, one bird species lay its eggs in the nest of another bird species. And the common example is cuckoo birds, quail, lay eggs in the nest of crow. It is about parasitism where one organism is benefited, another is harmed. Now, next we will discuss about Commensalism. It is also an interspecific interaction in which one species is benefited but other species is neither benefited nor harmed. For example, orchid grow as epiphytes on mango or other fruit trees. Egret bird always going along with cattle to catch insects. So this is the example of commensalism in which in this case the egret is benefited but cattle is not harmed and not benefited. Here you may visualize commensalism. The frogs use plants as protection. Cattle, egrets, bird eat the insects stirred up by cattle when they are grazing. Golden jackals, once they have been expelled from a pack, will trail a tiger to feed on the remains of its kill. So all these are the example of commensalism. Now another interaction is amensalism. It is an interaction between two different species in which one species is harmed and other is neither benefited nor harmed. For example, the antibiotic secreted by fungus kills many other bacteria present around them. So here the fungus is not harmed nor benefited, but bacteria is harmed. In the given figure, you may visualize another example of Amensalism. The black walnut secrete chemicals from its root that harms neighboring plants, an example of Amensalism. So this is all about today's session. Thank you. For any kind of doubts, please write your question in comment section.